Howdy, folks. YTPC, Curmudgeon Piper, on a nippy Wednesday. Not too cold, not too warm either. Smoking the Road Town Small Bulldog with some Lane MV1000, gifted to me by 2 a.m. Pipe on the patio. Old Onion. It's going to be a VR to Gribley. He was holding a 3rd Anniversary GAW. He gave 3 options of a story to tell. Number 1, tell about a time you had to bug out. Or, number 2, scariest or strangest thing you've ever seen in the woods. Or 3, when you've received help from an unexpected source. Well, I've had all 3 of those to some extent. So I've been sitting on this one for a few days trying to decide which story to tell. I was going to tell the bug out story. About the time many years ago at my parents' 25th wedding anniversary celebration that my brother and I were hosting, in which I consumed more Jack Daniels than I should have. Had the microphone to make a toast, and with my parents, it was probably 100 people there, most of their friends and all. With the microphone in my hand, I made a politically incorrect, to put it mildly, not necessarily derogatory, but certainly politically incorrect statement regarding those who are physically challenged. Trying to be funny. And of course in the audience is a very prominent person from the community who is confined to a wheelchair. Who happened to be married to my 9th grade science teacher. Who wasn't shy about coming to tell me her displeasure. So I was going to tell that story. But then the fact of the matter is I didn't bug out. I wanted to bug out. But considering the fact that it was my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, which I was co-hosting with my brother, I couldn't bug out. The unexpected help, it's actually happened many times. Praise God. So I settled on the story of the strangest thing I've ever seen in the woods. It wasn't scary. It was just strange. When I was a kid, good friend of mine and I, he lived out on the edge of some woods, so, and we used to get together quite often, especially during this time of year. This time of year always reminds me of those times we would go out in the woods, take our BB guns, and shoot at inanimate objects. We never tried to hit anything that was breathing, but we would take our guns out and shoot at beer cans or what have you, something like that. Spent a lot of time in the woods back then. Well, one particular Saturday, it wasn't just he and I, but it was he and I and probably 3 or 4 other guys. I don't remember why. I can't remember if he and I were going out and we ran into them. I don't remember. I knew them all. We were all, most of them were older than we were by a couple of years or so. So they found out we were going out into the woods, so they decided they'd tag along with us. And we're out, we're basically roaming around. We'd stop and shoot the BB guns at something every once in a while, but for the most part, we were just exploring. And then deep into the woods, no roads, no paths. It didn't even look like there was any way to get out there other than walking like we were doing. But we came across this old shed. It wasn't a house nearby. It was just a shed. And it was padlocked. Couldn't get into it. Or so we thought. One of the older guys found a big old rock and busted the padlock off of it. Inside that shed, in the middle of the woods, probably 300 or 400 yards from the nearest access, were 2 dust-covered vintage Packards from the 1930s. Well, like they had been just parked there 25 or 30 years, 40 years before. They hadn't been touched. Just covered with dust. And raccoon dung. They were unlocked. So we got inside and, of course I don't recall now, but all the registration paperwork was in there. So then we figured if the registration paperwork was in there, somebody knew they were there. So then we got a little nervous, decided we better leave. So prayerfully, if anyone ever sees this that knows me well enough to know that story and where that shed is, hopefully the statute of limitations has expired. But 2 vintage Packards sitting in a shed in the middle of the woods. Strange. Folks, if you are not subscribed to Gribley, I encourage you to do so. His Sunday anti-socials are always entertaining. His treks through the woods with bears, always entertaining. Anyway, check him out. Hope you folks have a great rest of your Wednesday. Be well, be humble, be grateful for all that you have. I'll see you again soon.